Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I think this is a very necessary topic. It's a very necessary thing to talk about because it is quite real. I mean, if you're out there and you don't believe like that people actually self-sabotage, like people actually self-destruct, like intentionally ruin things for themselves, then I'm sorry to tell you, but like it's real. Maybe you don't maybe you don't go through it, maybe it doesn't happen to you, and that's okay. I mean, you're one of God's favorite, right? But for the rest of us out here, we struggle every day with self-sabotaging, and I also struggle as well. If we're going to be honest, this is a thing that happens. We do it. I do it. I am so guilty of it, and I just feel like it's something I've always struggled with all my life. And majority of the time when I realize that okay, I self-sabotage, I always tend to forget that I self-sabotage, and I take myself seriously, and I end up actually succeeding in self-sabotaging, meaning in ruining whatever it is that I was going to ruin. I read somewhere that our brain, like our actual brain, is wired to protect us. That's why like there's something called survival instinct. Like you don't know where it comes from. All you just know is that. In fact, sometimes you start acting before you realize what you're doing, just to, stay alive, just to protect yourself, just to, prevent anything negative from happening. And that's why, like, our brain focuses on negativity so much. So the thing is, there could be like, out of 10 things, there could be like 8 good things, but your brain is only going to focus on the other 2 bad things for no reason. It's going to completely ignore the good ones because it's like, oh yeah, that's good, I don't have to worry about that. But it's going to focus on what it thinks it needs to worry about, and that's just your brain being your brain. That's just your brain working, because if your brain is not like that, there will be nothing like survival instincts. There'll be nothing like what's it called, reflex and stuff like that. That's why sometimes, especially a reflex action, it happens before you even think about it. Like you've done it before you're like, oh, I just did that, I just blocked that, I just protected myself. That the brain is literally biased towards negativity and bad stuff. So one single negative thought can destroy literally every positive thing that you've thought about, literally. And the moment you understand this, you can understand that because you had a negative thought doesn't mean that it's true or that it's real or that it's actually happening. It's just your brain trying to make sure that everything is in check, everything is fine, everything is protected. So your brain is going to point out that, oh, what about this, what about that? That's just your brain being your brain. It doesn't mean that it's real, it's actually happening. And I just feel like a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this as well, but like knowing this recently, I'm like, like it makes sense, because I might have everything good like working out for me, like everything might be going perfectly fine. Out of nowhere, boom, what if this happens? And I'm like, oh my god, what if this happens? Like, what am I actually going to do if that happens? And then guess what? I'm actually now thinking about the negative stuff out of nowhere that my brain just cooked up, and now I'm worried about it, and now I can't function, I can't do anything, and I'm like, what's the point of even doing anything anyway? This negative stuff is going to happen anyway. I feel like that's where self-sabotaging comes from. It just comes from your instinct to protect yourself. And honestly, once you realize that, you're going to realize that it's actually coming from a place of love, of protection, of I just want to make sure that you have checked everything, and there's nothing evil or nothing negative lurking around. And I feel like we should really understand that, because like it would really help us to understand why we just come up with negative thoughts and we believe them, because honestly they are just thoughts. They really are. Like, but then, because the brain is the brain and the mind is a very strong tool, once your brain connects to your mind and they're locked, sometimes we feel like it's out of our control, and like there really isn't anything we can do about it. But there are things that you can do, and with being mindful and being watchful and with a lot of love and care, I feel like we can actually stop self-sabotaging. Like, it's possible. Procrastination really kills a lot of things, and it really steals a lot of things from you as well. Like, we normalize all this behavior, we normalize procrastination, like, oh, it's fine to like, oh, I'll do it later, like it's not a big deal. But like what that does for you is it conditions your mind to, basically not take you seriously. Like you don't take yourself seriously. Like you don't believe in yourself. It makes you to not believe in yourself. It makes you to not like rate yourself, basically. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter anyway because I know when the time comes is what I want, like, and there's a high chance I'm not going to do it. And that really messes you up in a way that you can't understand. And this is one of the, the examples of self-sabotaging. Like that is proper self-sabotaging, when it's time for you to do something that you said you were going to do and now you're pushing it to later and you even eventually end up not doing it. How do you think what do you think you're teaching your brain? What do you think you're teaching your mind? You're basically teaching yourself that you are not reliable, and yeah, you can't trust yourself. Like I say this in all my videos, you can't be perfect. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care who you think you are. You're not God, and you cannot be perfect. Like there's no way. You have to start from somewhere. At least you have to put out something. At least you have to do something. Like if that's what it is, if you really, really want to do something, you can put in all your best and cherish your results and move forward with it. If you want to try again, sure, it's okay. But if you're hoping, if you're striving, if you're trying to be perfect, I'm here to tell you now, it's not going to happen. You accepting that, you finally will know peace, because like being perfect, it's not real. That's not real. Okay, and you're a human being. You're not supposed to be perfect anyway. I really like. I mean, I do get it, because to an extent, I'm like, for me, my own perfect, like for me, like trying to be perfect just comes from being hard on myself. Like especially when I do something and I don't succeed at it, it's like why can't I just get it right? Or like I want to do something, but because I'm like, oh, for example, I want to make a video now. Oh, I don't like my background. Oh, my camera is not great, but I do have a very creative idea. But then just because of these little things, I just basically killed my dream. And that's proper self-sabotage at its core. The sign of self-sabotaging is also, you feel something good coming and you intentionally ruin it. The moment you keep telling yourself negative things, you basically just, like confuse your brain. Let me start from there, because really our brain cannot phantom negativity. It will not rest until it, that negativity or that negative thoughts or that negative whatever negative thing is dissolved. It really wouldn't. And the more you keep like dwelling in the negative mindset or the negative thoughts, the more you're stressing out your brain, and the more you really won't be able to function properly. Like you won't be able to understand anything, because your brain will continue to focus more and more on this negative thing, and it will not rest until that thing is eradicated, until that thing is gone. I mean, you have to understand where these thoughts are coming from. Why are you thinking this way? In examining the root cause, you also have to recognize your self-sabotaging behavior. Do you understand? There's always a trigger. There really is. Like, honestly, if you really watch yourself, like if you study yourself, right? And like you just sit for a minute and just think about yourself for a minute and just think about it, like, okay, try and point out all the other times that you self-sabotaged, all the other things that you ruined, right? It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's your life. Like, you can't be so hard on yourself. You accepting yourself is one of the best first step to self-love. So now you realize, okay, when I'm self-sabotaging, what is my trigger? As in, what's so there's always a trigger that, gets you into that, like, defensive, mode, that instinct mode of, oh my God, I'm just going to hide somewhere or keep to myself. I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to engage. I'm just going to basically ruin this. There is a trigger, and like, understand your behavior, understand the reason why you're doing it, understand your triggers, and like this is one way to, this is actually the first way to tackle self-sabotaging. You have to understand the root. You have to understand where it's coming from. You have to understand the first thing. Like you have to know, because there's a pattern, right? So you have to understand what the first step of the pattern is. Like, what's the first step? What's the first thing? Like, what's the first thought that comes to your mind when you're about to self-sabotage? And when the thought comes to your mind, what's the first action that you take? The moment you realize yourself now taking back that action, and I mean, the moment you realize what action it is, the next time you're about self-sabotage, you are going to take that action because that's just you being you, and that's just your body being your body. Your brain is your brain, right? And then the moment you realize that, okay, wait, I'm about to take this action, or I have just taken this action, this is a self-sabotaging action. That's how you indicate a red flag, and that's the first way that you can actually, curb self-sabotaging, to stop procrastinating. I know it's really hard. Like, I know because I am guilty. And but like, I mean, it's easier said than done, honestly. But I feel like when it comes to procrastination, what all that matters is that you're doing something. Do you understand me? So like, you've decided that, okay, tomorrow, for example, in my case, tomorrow I'm going to make a video about this and that. And then when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like it. That's usually how my own self-sabotaging works. First of all, like, I'll probably just get carried away with my phone, or like something unnecessary that doesn't even matter. Do you understand me? And then next thing, I don't feel like doing anything. Oh, I can just do this till later. I can just. The moment you catch yourself thinking like that is when you should take action. The moment you take action while you're about to procrastinate, like not when you've already decided to procrastinate, while you're about to decide to procrastinate, that's the moment you take action. And the moment you do that, do you know what you teach yourself? You teach yourself that I am somebody that does what they said they were going to do at that certain time. The moment you're able to, turn that pattern around, whereby you said you were going to do something and you did it the first time, you said you were going to do something and you did it again the second time, the third time, the fourth time, nobody will tell you. Nobody will tell you, because now your brain knows that you are the kind of person that you do what you said you were going to do, and your brain will also help you to actually take actions. And even if your brain decides to fail you, you yourself that is taking the action, now you are used to actually doing the things that you said you were going to do. So you won't even need to wait for your brain or any motivation or anything. You would get up and do what you said you were going to do. Celebrate your small wins. Like, when you actually get to do something that you said you were going to do, acknowledge it. I'm not saying you should throw a party or whatever, right? But like, tell yourself, like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Tell that to yourself, because you should be proud of you. So tell yourself, I'm so proud of you. You actually did this. Like, I believe in you. And when you do it again, reward yourself with more positive thoughts, more positive talk, more positive energy. Like, I'm so proud of you. You really got this. And, that would really, like, you have no idea how far that will take you, or how good that will make you feel. Just looking at the bigger picture, honestly, because that destroys a lot of things. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, right? Stop looking at, oh, okay, if I do this, I expect this result. Fine. For example, now, I'm going to use this as an example because this is what I know about, right? You are trying to, work on your physical body, maybe work out, maybe eat right, be physically active. I get it. But then, like, apart from just looking at the fact that you're going to have a great body, focus on the fact that, you are on a journey to having a great body. And like, the journey is really the interesting part, because you are going to get to your destination, trust me. But then you're not going to get there without a journey. And if you just ignore the whole journey part and just focus on the results, it's not going to take you anywhere, because the journey is the most important part of anything that you're doing. Is how you get there, really. Because you are going to get there, especially when you know that, okay, 1 + 1 is 2. You see that equal to that 1 + 1 equal, you can't remove the equal, like the two lines. You can't take it out, because it's just be 1 + 1, then it's just be 2 beside it. What's the 2 doing there? What's that 2? It's not going to match. It's not going to make any sense. You need that journey. You need the line that is going to take you from point A to point B. You can't just take that line out. Then once you take the line out, then there's no journey. So how are you going to get to point B? Do you understand? So you have to acknowledge the journey. You have to embrace it. You have to look forward to it, because that's really, really, really what's going to get you to your destination. That's what's going to get you to your end goal. Stop this perfectionist thinking, like, oh, everything has to be perfect. I have to be this, I have to be that, I need to have this, I need to have that before I'm happy. Really? In this world that we live in, forget it. Be happy now. Like, be happy now. Do it now. Do it scared, do it alone, but do it anyway. Honestly. That if you in fact if you're not going to understand anything I'm saying, listen to this. Do it now, do it scared, but do it anyway. And let me tell you something. Do it and be grateful that you've done it. Do it, and whatever the result is, be grateful. Even if you fail. Do you know what failure is? Failure is a lesson. Because you failed once doesn't mean you can't try again. And I feel like people take failure differently. Failure is hard, but let's be honest, the only reason why failure is hard is just because of the negative thoughts that are attached to failure. It's just because of, the emotions that are attached to failure. Because I know when you fail, it's like, oh my goodness, that this is the end of the world, right? But look at it this way. When you fail at whatever it is that you are doing, that's an opportunity for you to learn what not to do next time. Do you understand me? And if you ignore that part, I promise you, you are going to repeat the same thing and going to fail the same way. And if you still decide not to learn, you will still repeat the same thing. And God, I hope it doesn't take your life. You will continue to repeat the same behavior over and over again until you learn. So the sooner you learn from your failures, the better for you. And finally, develop a self-supporting system. Develop a self-supporting system. Develop self-supporting behavior. For example, learn to do self-loving things. Like, I know it's like, self-love, we get it. But then they actually help us to be in a better place mentally. They really do. Recently, I cleaned my whole room. Like, it had been messed up for like a month. Like, I'm not saying like it's been completely dirty, right? But like, I had not deep cleaned in a very, very long time. And I was going through this phase whereby I was just, emotionally like destroyed, and I was destroying myself. I was saying negative things to myself. I was self-sabotaging so bad. Like, in fact, for no reason, I was just self-sabotaging. And then when I finally was able to drag myself out, I cleaned my room. I did my laundry. I cooked. I'm telling you, that's the first time this year that I really, really felt like myself. Like, I really felt like, okay, I'm going to be okay. I got this. Like, things are not actually as bad as it seems. And it literally just took me taking care of myself a little bit. That was all it took me to snap out of that whole phase I was going through for like 3 months. I was just going through it for 3 months for no reason. All I had to do was just give myself a little bit of attention and love. Like, it's the regular thing. Just clean your room, do your laundry, and cook. And by the time I was done with these 3 activities, I swear I felt like a human being for the first time in 3 months. If you really want to be happy, and you really want to get to your goal, you really want to succeed, you really want an amazing life, you actually have to know that you deserve to be happy. You have to know that you deserve to succeed. You know that you deserve to have an amazing life. I really want us to live here today and just remember that we need to stop stealing from ourselves. We need to stop robbing ourselves of joy and peace and all the good stuff that we can get out of life, honestly. And I feel like, I know it's not easy. There's so many behaviors that are attached to self-sabotaging, low self-esteem, feeling guilty, feeling ashamed, especially when, see, yeah, Self-sabotaging also comes from feeling ashamed of success. You know, some people succeed and they're like, oh, I don't deserve this. Why am I happy? Why am I succeeding? Is that crazy? It really is that crazy, but it's happening. But then you need to know that you're worth everything. You're worth it. You're worth all the good stuff. All the good stuff. You deserve everything good. Everything amazing. I mean, you're probably out there thinking that, oh, like it's not possible for me to stop self-sabotage, it's not possible for me to live a peaceful life, or it's not possible for me to be at peace with myself. But I promise you that it's very possible. All it takes is for you to just take the first step towards yourself, inward. Take the first step in towards yourself, and accept yourself, love yourself, find yourself, genuinely feel these things for yourself, genuinely do these things for yourself, want it so bad to actually be better, to actually stop this, especially if you really want to stop and you don't know where to begin and you don't know how to. The fact that you already want to is amazing, and that's all you need to start this journey into loving yourself. I'm not saying that you're going to stop self-sabotaging in like 2 seconds. I'm not saying that, oh, the moment you watch this video and you start cleaning your room or whatever, boom, let me tell you something. Triggers will come. Life will happen. You will be tested. But you need to train yourself. You need to train your mind. You need to understand yourself and know best how to handle yourself. That is one way that you can face anything that life throws at you. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but all I'm saying is that whatever life brings at you, trust me, you'll be able to take it and throw it back 10 times more. So I really hope my video will help somebody today. I hope my video has been helpful to you guys. It has been helpful to me. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. I really want to hear everything. Thank you guys for watching my video. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Stay positive and stay blessed. Mwah.